Leadership 100 was organized by Archbishop Iakovos with a group of dedicated founders in 1984. And its purpose was to provide resources, financial resources, to support the national ministries of the Greek Orthodox Archdiocese. Archbishop Iakovos, of blessed memory, had great vision. And he said, I need to come up with some resources to take the burden off the local communities. So he gathered with a group of dedicated men, and he said, I need your help. I'm a priest, I'm not a fundraiser. And the next thing they said, leave it to us. We will find 100 people to give $10,000 a year for 10 years for the national ministries of the Archdiocese. And the Archbishop looked at them and said, if you can find 100 Greeks to give $10,000 a year for 10 years, God can call me home. After the first year, they raised 200 members. And I said to the Archbishop, don't rush, we're going for 300. Today we have close to 1,200 members, committed members who support the ministries of the Archdiocese. And the key thing with Leadership 100 is we are not allowed to touch the principal. We are only allowed to use the interest to give back to the Greek Orthodox Archdiocese to help fund its ministries. And we are proud to say that as of today, we've given over $65.5 million to the Archdiocese for the ministries of the Church. The national church that serves close to 3 million people needs to have programs that constantly grow and advance our faith in America. We're not a rich man's organization. We're a group of stewards who love the church and want to do their part to help this church thrive in America.
Traditionally, our main recipient of our funding has been and will continue to be our seminary, Hellenic College Holy Cross in Brookline, Massachusetts. We have a scholarship program which benefits young men who are looking to enter the priesthood. We have completed two $10 million, $1 million a year, $10 million commitments, and we are on our third $10 million commitment, and I am certain that that would always be the main mission of Leadership 100, is to support individuals who want to enter the priesthood, as there is a need for priests in the United States in our faith. Other organizations that we've supported through the years have been the founding of OCMC, Orthodox Christian Ministry Center. We have also supported the camps, which brings our youth into the equation also, not just the young adults, but each metropolis in the United States has their own summer youth camp. So we have been providing funding for well over 10 years, and this is another means to bring the youth closer to our church here in America.
We've given to the Ionian Village, a wonderful program of the Archdiocese that enables young people to go to Greece and to have an opportunity to learn their culture, their heritage. Leadership has contributed to this program, as well as to religious education, Greek education. We've also given to humanitarian causes, such as the Greek fires in Greece. We just gave a grant of $200,000 as a matching grant that Archbishop Elpidophoros asked us to come forward and offer support. We've offered support to the Ecumenical Patriarchate in areas of pastoral care programs. We were there to help. We give an average, in addition to the school, of $2 million towards grants of the Archdiocese. So in excess, it's over $3 million that leadership gives out every single year. And we are proud of the support. The dollars go in, but they go right out.
We are here to support the Archdiocese, the ministries of the Archdiocese, and naturally we are also here to support the 100th anniversary year. Our members are part of the 100th anniversary committee, and we look forward to having events not only here in New York with the celebration of clergy laity, but we have been discussing regional events across the country that will bring Leadership 100 and the Archdiocese even closer together.
Our purpose was to support the Archdiocese and to be part of it. We have one Archbishop, His Eminence Archbishop Elpidophoros. He is the head of the church. He also is the head of Leadership 100. He shares with us his concerns and we respond. We are all working within the structure of an Archdiocese and Leadership 100 to be one family, one purpose, and that is to promote Orthodoxy and Hellenism in America. Our current and future goal for Leadership 100 is to recruit the 1,200 members to 2,000 members and to keep growing. So Leadership 100 may one day have the name of Leadership 3000 with God's help.
Why can't it be 2,000 members, 3,000 members, 5,000 members? There will be people that realize the good work we're doing and will want to help and join in our mission.
That's where we're going, to recruit new members and bring them in to the life of the church.
To continue to see the younger members of our community become a part of Leadership 100 and our Archdiocese, and I believe we are achieving that goal annually as the numbers are increasing every year.
So this is why I stress that we are one church, one Archdiocese, and one group of people working together for the glory of God.
St. Michael's is the vision of the then Archbishop Michael, who in the mid-1950s realized that members of the community who were part of that first major wave of Greek immigrants at the beginning of the 20th century were entering what was called their golden years. So along with the clergy in the area, he worked to establish a home for the elderly. And they opened it up in May of 1958. And at that time, the facility was called Spiti tou Protou Porou, home of the pioneer, because the first residents were the pioneers of our community here in the United States. In the late 1960s, Archbishop Iakovos, to honor the founder, had the name changed to St. Michael's Home. And for over 60 years, it's been a home away from home for countless Greek Orthodox elderly who primarily have come from the tri-state area of New Jersey, New York, Connecticut, but because of its unique environment and especially linguistics, we've had residents come from as far away as Colorado, Boston, and from some of the southern states. So in 1996, I came here as the director. And it's been a true blessing for me to work with these individuals at a most difficult time in their lives. We often refer to them as the golden years. Very often it's not so golden. As these people age, they're dealing with their own challenges. And so there's a real ministry here at St. Michael's. And I'm happy to say that after 25 years, I see that evolution in our own community where there's a growing appreciation for this type of a ministry to the elderly of our community. And so that's why the expansion project has been so enthusiastically embraced by the community, who's been most supportive of it, because we all realize that it's critical. Early on in my tenure, along with the Board of Trustees, we realized that the home was not truly fulfilling its mission as established by Archbishop Michael, and that was to minister to those encumbered by old age. Because of our licensing from the New York State Department of Health, we only have one license, which requires that our residents be ambulatory and not need continuous nursing care. And as one can appreciate with the aging process, regardless of the quality care you offer, time does take its toll on these individuals, and during any particular year, we may be required to transfer to facilities offering higher levels of care, something which is very dramatic and traumatic to these individuals who have come to call this place their home. Being transferred out to another facility, they're going to be deprived of the unique environment, the food, the language, and most especially the ability to worship in this chapel of St. Michael's Home. So along with the Board of Trustees, we realized that we really needed to expand the facilities so that we could fulfill our ministry, our mission, and we could reach out to more individuals within the community. So after an extensive search in the year 2014, we purchased a new site on Long Island on which to expand and relocate the facility, because unfortunately here where we're at, we're very limited in the size of the facility, and the town of Yonkers will not allow us to expand here. You know, there's a very popular Greek expression, there where you are, I was once. Here where I am, you may one day be. The elderly really do not like to be alone. They like the company, the barea of socializing with other people of their generation with similar experiences. And so St. Michael's really fits that niche. A facility where we meet the physical, the emotional, the spiritual needs of our residents. And that's why we're very excited as the Archdiocese celebrates its 100th anniversary, and our 64th anniversary as a national ministry of our church here in the United States, that we have embarked upon this really exciting new chapter in our history with the expansion on Long Island, where we're going to be going from being able to accommodate 60 residents to well over 150 residents, from offering one level of care to offering progressively higher levels of care so that no resident ever has to leave the facility as they need more care, because we'll now be able to offer that all on one campus. I think as the Archdiocese celebrates its centennial, it can take pride in having as one of its institutions, St. Michael's Home. I consider it one of the jewels in the crown of our Archdiocese. You can't have a church that does not minister to all of its population, and I think the Archdiocese takes pride in the fact that St. Michael's is doing that, and has done so in a way that has earned for us a stellar reputation. Something we take great pride in is, despite all of the tragic news we heard with the COVID pandemic, we did not lose any residents here at St. Michael's as a result of COVID. And I think that's a testament to the diligent efforts of the staff here, the heavenly protection of our Archangel Michael, who protects the facility. As religious, we believe that we need that heavenly protection. Our primary concern is not some bottom line on a financial statement, but rather the happiness and well-being of our residents.
We welcome you here into this sacred space, into this chapel, this beautiful Byzantine structure. It's small, but it certainly is magnificent. The iconography is magnificently executed. All the work that has been done here as far as maintaining the traditions of our faith and of our people, and maintaining those traditions authentically is very important. The St. Photius Greek Orthodox National Shrine was established to commemorate those indentured servants that came from Greece and Asia Minor in 1768.
The shrine was started in 1965 when they purchased the house, so to speak, as a vision.
In 1982, we had the opening of the doors, and we're celebrating that this year, our 40th anniversary.
The reason why they purchased this house is because it was the sanctuary for the survivors of the New Smyrna colony.
They took refuge here in the Overo house. So I think that impact is a aha moment, a wow moment. Oh gee, I didn't know that. Greeks were here in 1768? That's amazing.
A man named Andrew Turnbull, he had this grand idea that while Britain owned Florida, that he was going to create a colony that could be an entrepreneurial success of indigo and other items.
And I think people don't know that history. They didn't know that Greeks came over with the Menorcans and others from Asia Minor in 1768.
What happened was that when the Archdiocese found that 500 of those original 1,400 were Greeks, he felt that they had to be honored. Their memory had to be honored. That is why the shrine is here, in honor of those Greeks who came to America in 1768 that were received in St. Augustine in 1777, and in honor of all immigrants who came to America. So this is a place of witness for Orthodoxy. It's a place in which we share the Hellenic culture, and it's part of America's oldest city, St. Augustine.
Being here in the oldest continuously inhabited city in the United States is most appropriate, but it also needs to expand and tell the world that we are here. I think that vision is still the same, but we want to augment it. We want it to be a living shrine, not a dead shrine, not a dead museum, not a place where people come just to remember the past, but to celebrate the future and to celebrate and to highlight what Greek Americans have done in this country. The shrine is an integral institution of the Archdiocese of America. It has been for 40 years. Because this is the first national shrine of the Archdiocese of America. Therefore, it's interwoven and married to the Archdiocese, and our faith and culture are always married together. So we celebrate that marriage of faith and culture here at St. Photios. I would like to see everyone know about St. Photios and its contributions to the Archdiocese and to America.
There are so many people yet within our Archdiocese who have never heard of the shrine, have never heard of the Avero House. It's on the National Registry of Historic Places. It's been open for 40 years. It's had relevancy to the Archdiocese for almost 60 years. And yet, my number one goal is always to increase awareness, to always be able to receive people warmly and to let them leave being ambassadors themselves of the message of the shrine. So for the future, may it be that place of respite for people to come, to learn a bit of history, but also to find inside a little bit of peace for themselves, some hope, some faith, some real understanding of what it is to be in the present here in the chapel and on the grounds. It's just such a perfect place for humanity, truly.
If you have a chance to visit us here at St. Augustine, I wish you would. Just spend a couple moments in prayer, light a candle, offer a prayer.
It has such meaning to so many people, and no one has ever come away from the shrine not touched by the shrines.
If you're fortunate enough to be here while we're having a service, we would invite you to stay with us, but also you can always tune in and watch our services by live streaming. There are local parishes here. We don't want to compete with that. We are a shrine, not a parish, and the shrine is an important place of pilgrimage. So if you do come here, you'll be able to venerate the relics that we have, to able to pray in front of the magnificent Byzantine icons, and just take a respite from the outside world and enter into this heavenly realm.
We have children that are from broken homes, some are orphaned. They all need to be here as a safe environment, Christian environment, an Orthodox safe haven. We help teach them, we educate them, obviously feed them, dress them, nurture them. Our children graduate high school, go on, beyond. St. Basil Academy is truly a unique institution. We're licensed by the New York State Office of Children and Family Services. They acknowledge that the Greek Orthodox faith religion is pivotal to our organization, very different from all of their other institutions. The original program at St. Basil Academy was and is the residential life, which is children from broken homes, whether orphaned or from divorce or guardian situations that just people can't take care of their children, so they come to us and we help raise them. The residential life staff, the counselors, are incredible, and they really are the surrogate parents that take care of their children 24/7, and they do very, very well. We're supervised and licensed by New York State Office of Children and Family Services, and during the evaluations of the past many years, they call us a model program. And I really believe that's because our foundation is Greek Orthodox Christianity. During World War II, Archbishop Athenagoras of blessed memory, and later on he became ecumenical patriarch and went to Constantinople. He understood that because of the war there would be children who would be orphaned. And so he put the word out to search for property to create an orphanage. This was done in the early 40s. He opened it up. It was literally an orphanage for children. But from the very beginning, people here realized that there was a need for children from broken homes. And in the Greek culture, someone who's divorced parents is called an orphan, orphano. So it fit. Then the Archbishop realized he needed teachers and administrators and youth workers for the Archdiocese. So concurrently, he opened up a girls' college. So St. Basil Academy was an orphanage, but also a girls' college. And that program existed until, I think, 73 or 74. And those women were transferred up to Hellenic College, and the program has been absorbed by Hellenic College curriculum. When he passed on, Archbishop Michael was here as Archbishop, and he then added boys to the campus. So it became coeducational. In the beginning, it was all girls, and then he added the boys. When Archbishop Athenagoras established this institution, he gave it the name St. Basil Academy. There's a really deep meaning behind it. St. Basil was a 4th century saint. He was known as a father of the church. He was a philosopher, a theologian. He was the first social worker. He had a vision in his diocese where he created centers for the orphan, the widowed, and old-timers. It was natural for an archbishop to name it St. Basil Academy. In the 4th century, this was revolutionary thinking. Even today it is. He did this, he established it, St. Basil, and that's why we are St. Basil Academy. We have the vision of fulfilling St. Basil's vision. Our goal is to continue the work of the church as was done in the 4th century, and it might sound silly because we're in the 21st century, but the needs are always there. Humanity is always hurting and in pain, and this institution is there to serve those needs or try to meet them. The residential counselors are pivotal in our household. We talk about being a family, and they really are. So you've got youngsters who come from a troubled background, and all of a sudden, it used to take months, and now it just takes days. You see their affect. From being a blank stare, within days you see life behind those eyes. They glow, and it's because they feel a sense of security and care and nurturing. I don't like to say love, but it is love. I don't want to be trite about it, but it really is. It's caring and nurturing, and it's love. God's love. We call it agape. What we're hoping for the next 100 years that St. Basil not only just continue, but continue to thrive, that we meet the needs of many more children and families, that we continue to help these young people grow up, be not only well-rounded Orthodox Christians, but members of the world and society, and future leaders of the church, and that's been happening, thankfully, with some of our past alumni. What I would love to see happen is increase enrollment, and if God allows to have this type of organization around the country to meet the needs of other children and families. I have to take this opportunity to say a really big thank you, a big efkaristo, a big thank you. God bless you all. Keep it up because you are changing lives, you are transforming lives, you are giving young people an opportunity to be who God intended them to be, born in the image and likeness of our Lord, and unfortunately because of early life circumstances, that's been distorted, and now we're bringing them back, and they're growing in faith, they're growing in love, they're growing in the image and likeness of God. Thank you.
This institution must become more than just a college. It must become more than just a seminary. It needs to become the center of Orthodox thought and training in the Western world. That is our goal. That is our plan. That is our focus. Holy Cross Theological Seminary was started in 1937 by, at that time, Archbishop Athenagoras, later to become Patriarch Athenagoras, to meet the needs of the church, the growing church in the United States. The original plan was for the institution to provide 2 years of education to seminarians, with their education to be further completed with additional years in Greece. With the outbreak of the Second World War, those plans changed, and Pomfret then became the home of the 5-year training of the seminarians for the United States. In the late 60s, with the vision of our new Archbishop, Archbishop Iakovos, the institution was expanded to now include Helena College, to provide an opportunity for young Orthodox to receive an undergraduate institution in an Orthodox Christian environment. The vision of His Eminence was to be able to provide that education in an environment where faith infused the experience of the individuals in attendance. And that faith exhibited itself not only in the academic offerings, but also in the chapel life, in the environment, and in the spiritual formation that was provided to the students at that time, not only at the undergraduate level, but also at the seminarian level. As the only Greek Orthodox college, graduate school of theology, and seminary, we provide a unique opportunity for both the training of seminarians for the priesthood, the formation of our lay leaders, so that they leave here with a sense of vocation and their potential future position in serving the church in this country. The most important aspect of our mission at Helena College Holy Cross is to prepare our seminarians for their future role as clergy to our church in America. Our parishes are our church in action today. Our seminarians are our church in action in the future. We do that through continual monitoring of our fieldwork, our academic offerings, our curriculum, while maintaining a very important focus on our chapel, which is the core of the institution and the perpetuation of our faith. As we celebrate the 100th year anniversary of the Greek Orthodox Archdiocese in the United States, we should also celebrate the contributions that the seminarians who became priests, who have served the church during this period of time, have been absolutely critical to the success of our church. As we look towards the future of not only our faith in this country, but also of the role that Helena College Holy Cross plays, we must keep in mind a singular focus, that the church will not grow without effective training of the clergy that come through our halls, that come through our chapel, that come through the process of priestly and spiritual formation. The church will be as successful as our clergy are successful. And in order for us to assure our successful delivery of our mission in the future, we must become closer to our clergy, from whom we can learn how our clergy in the future can be more successful in their delivery of their mission. Further, we must extend our knowledge, our theology, our study of the faith to our faithful who are thirsting for additional information to broaden and deepen their own faith.
Since the time of Christ, the faith known simply as the Way has spread throughout the globe. What started in the streets and hills of Jerusalem, the mission and ministry of one solitary man, became a faith that has been a beacon of hope, the light that has burned in the hearts, minds, souls of these self-proclaimed Christians. As the world grew, so too did Christianity as it spreads its wings from one end of the earth to the other. Over 100 years ago, faithful Orthodox Christians landed in this country, and as they established homes and towns, they brought with them the sacred traditions and culture of their Orthodox faith. As they established small chapels and churches throughout the country, the one thing that united them was their unwavering faith in Christ. This belief, combined with the hard work and determination that every immigrant felt, kept our faith alive in this country, burning brightly in their hearts and small communities. And in 1922, those people, our forefathers and mothers, gathered together to form an archdiocese, to unite all of the churches that had been built into one functional body of Christ. In 2022, we celebrate more than just a 100-year anniversary. We celebrate the lives of each of those who came before us, that worked so hard to make the Greek Orthodox Archdiocese of America a reality. Over the past century, our beloved Archdiocese has been maturing along with our community and our people, coming of age in the new world, evolving and growing into the who and what we are today. The makeup of the Archdiocese is multi-layered and rich, made of our parishes and faithful, our metropolises and our hierarchs, our departments and our lay organizations, our donors and lay leaders, our youth, our schools, our camps, and so much more. As we sit throughout the past 100 years, we find historic moments, historic people, and of course, historic ministries in the life of the Archdiocese. The institutions of our Archdiocese are the backbone of ministry in this country. They tell the story of the Archdiocese through the people, through the faithful, and show how the Archdiocese over the years responded to great pastoral needs. They are organizations on the ground that serve the needs of those they minister directly. This year, I invite each of you to join us in celebrating the founding of our beloved Greek Orthodox Archdiocese of America. Join us by learning more about these amazing ministries of the Archdiocese. Join us by attending in the Clergy Laity Congress this summer in New York City. Join us by getting involved in your parish at home. Join us as we gather around the Holy Altar table each Sunday to celebrate the Divine Liturgy. This year, let us set firm the foundations for the next 100 years, and let us write together the first page in the next chapter of the history of the Greek Orthodox Archdiocese of America.
The Holy Trinity Cathedral as a community of believers really began in 1891. At the time, it was the second Greek Orthodox church in the Americas. It did not sit where it sits today. It was in New York City and had a variety of locations over the years. And it wasn't really until 1932 that the community as we know it now came here. And those early visionaries were probably much like many of our forefathers and mothers who came to a country, who wanted to cement their relationships, certainly with one another, in order to enter the arena of the Americas and New York City especially. The Greek Orthodox faith is woven into our family fabric here, and we use that word family in so much of what we do. That's how we refer to ourselves so often as Christian communities throughout our Archdiocese, I'm sure, but specifically the cathedral family is intending to reflect a unity in diversity. Where we now are has as its heavenly patron, and even behind me, an icon of the Holy Trinity, offering hospitality to those who come, most especially the strangers. And that is an anchoring principle for all of us, certainly as Christians, and those of us created in the image and likeness of God, to share in that love with the other is a calling that we all have. And the cathedral is continuing to offer that hospitality, that respite in a place and in a city that's often very busy and bustling. And for that reason, its mission is so much woven into its mere presence. The sacred space that it is often leaves people speechless when they walk in for some other event or service or sacrament, and many just are in awe of the beauty of the space. So that certainly proclaims a witness, and I have reason to believe that that was part of the vision of Archbishop Iacovos in the 60s when it was designated the cathedral, to then begin to ornament it as we see, with iconography, with mosaics, and then later on in the 70s, as a cathedral community and as an archdiocese, we were blessed to receive as a gift the relics of St. Nicholas, which in 1972 were gifted by the then Archbishop of Bari, Italy, and Archbishop Iacovos of blessed memory presiding, received them, and they reside here in a side chapel. This is definitely a place of pilgrimage for folks who come in and out of New York at various seasons of their life for work, some of them temporarily, some of them lifelong. It's a home. And so that is our hope, to make it a home, even internationally, and especially as people travel in and out of this city, and as we, for the next 100 years, contemplate how we can be a better witness and showcase the best of who we are in faith, in love, and in truth. St. Nicholas, for me, has helped me, apart from being a personal heavenly patron, but as a patron of those who are transient or traveling, helped me to capture that important piece to what we can offer as a cathedral community. For the future of Holy Trinity Cathedral, it's something that I hope we will all envision together. It's a story for us to tell, certainly for us to continue after a beautiful 100 years here. Certainly where we now sit as a cathedral, it's about 90 years. Physically, that is a part of our story that we are being attentive to and intentional about. We are updating and renovating, and we are grateful to those who have stepped forward and those who we hope and pray will continue to step forward to bring us into the next 100 years, watertight and sheltering all of those who come in for some safety, some warmth, some comfort, and some grace. A lot of what we will do in the next 100 years is hopefully a lot of what we've been doing as a people of God, growing in faith, in understanding of ourselves, of others, of greater compassion, mercy, peace, in order to offer healing. That is, after all, the mission that our Lord set before us, to make whole that which is at times broken. Our meaning and purpose is rooted so much in our faith, in our heritage, and we have, all of us, fundamentally, as human beings, a desire to connect. And we at Holy Trinity Cathedral hope to build relationships with the people of this community for many, many generations to come.
An archon is a term used for leader. In fact, it originated in the 8th century BC when it referred to the ancient leaders of the city of Athens, the first democracy. The Order of St. Andrew, unlike any other organization in the world, has a singular focus, a laser focus on the well-being and the religious freedom of the Ecumenical Patriarchate of Constantinople, the spiritual center of the world's 300 million Orthodox Christians. We are comprised of archons. What is an archon?
Well, archon actually comes from the ancient Greek world. It means leader, the one from the beginning. So it's an ancient Greek title, and it's probably the oldest honor in Christendom.
The role of the archon in the function of the Greek Orthodox Archdiocese and the metropolises is very, very significant. Virtually every major position of the Archdiocese held by a layman is held by an archon of the Ecumenical Patriarchate. And it's good that they're led by archons, because that archon always has in the back of his mind to promote the Mother Church. And in that context, when you promote the Mother Church, you're also promoting its most important eparchy, the Greek Orthodox Archdiocese of America.
So basically, the traits of an archon go back to the Lord and Savior first. He said, the greatest leader amongst you will be the greatest servant. So we look for service from an archon. We want from his wisdom, and we want from his vision of the church and how he serves the church.
And it was founded and originated by Archbishop Iakovos of blessed memory, who was the exarch or representative of the Ecumenical Patriarch. And in this case, in 1966, the Ecumenical Patriarch was Athenagoras, the great Athenagoras. So at that time, he conferred the title of archon to 30 individuals, men, who were distinguished leaders of the church, who exemplified their Christian stewardship at the local level, at the diocese level, at the archdiocese level.
But ultimately, you want somebody who's a servant leader. And if they do that, they're thinking of their brother and their sister, they're thinking of the community, they're thinking of the mother church, they're thinking of the archdiocese, and they're looking at everybody as a church family.
So I have had the great honor and privilege to serve as the national commander since 1998, when Archbishop Spiridon appointed me. And I serve at the pleasure of the exarch, the Archbishop of America, our Archbishop Elpidophoros of America. But in 1998, when I became the national commander, I have to say, with humility and great pride in the archon team that we've assembled, that there was a metamorphosis that took place in the order. It really morphed into an honorific organization which recognized the achievements of great laymen in the church, almost a lifetime achievement award status, if you will, to a dynamic, active, some people say hyperactive organization in which we developed initiatives domestically in the United States and internationally around the world to promote the religious freedom of the Ecumenical Patriarchate. What do you mean by religious freedom? Well, the government of Turkey does not even recognize the Ecumenical Patriarchate from a legal perspective. It has no corporate identity. So if you don't exist in the eyes of the government, you have no rights.
We have a religious freedom objective. So the first thing is to make sure that the Ecumenical Patriarchate has the support of what we hope is the United States government. We bring it to the attention of our brothers and sisters in America. America is still the land of the free and the home of the brave. So we ask them to speak about freedom bravely and talk about what religious freedom means for us in Constantinople and other parts of the Orthodox world. That's one of the elements. The other thing is that we ask them to use their resources. So therefore, we ask them to support the Ecumenical Patriarchate. We've established the Ecumenical Patriarch Bartholomew Foundation to secure the financial future of the Ecumenical Patriarchate around the world. When you're talking about becoming an archon, it should not just simply be what you did. It's what you're doing. And that has really been developed in the past 10 years by Dr. Limbarakis and the National Council of the Order of St. Andrew.
And finally, the constant recruitment of our children and grandchildren, raising them up in the church, passing the baton to them, to become ambassadors of the Ecumenical Patriarch. Archons are ambassadors, they are soldiers. And the two together result in the strengthening of the Mother Church here in the United States, the most important eparchy of the Mother Church, because the United States is the most powerful country in the world. And by virtue of that, we're able to support the Mother Church with the full backing of our U.S. government. So those are all positive things that we envision will continue over the generations to come, God willing.